Okay, picture this. You're 20 years old, you're trying to balance classes, a social life, maybe even a part-time job. But behind the scenes, in the world of high finance, there's this silent, high-stakes race going on. It's a race where the winners can lock down a multi-million-dollar career before they can even legally drink, and everyone else, well, they're left playing catch-up. This is the finance internship gauntlet. And really, if you want to understand the future of Wall Street, you have to understand this. So let's break down how it all works.
I mean, it sounds pretty intense, right? And that's because it is. We're talking about a system where your entire career path in these super competitive fields like private equity and investment banking can literally be decided by one single summer internship. So you have to ask yourself, how did we get here? Why has this one summer experience become the most important hurdle for anyone trying to make it in finance?
To really get it, you've got to reframe what a finance internship even is today. Seriously, forget getting coffee or making copies. This is the final round of the most intense job interview you can possibly imagine, except it's stretched out over 3 long, grueling months. And look, this number right here, this explains everything. For the top firms, the ones everybody wants to work for, their summer intern class isn't just some talent pool they dip into. No, it's their main, and a lot of the time their only, hiring pipeline. If you're not in that program, you're pretty much on the outside looking in. They turn around and give full-time offers to the huge majority of these interns, which basically slams the door shut for other applicants. So, and this is the key takeaway, this is not just a summer gig. It is a carefully, meticulously designed audition. These firms use this time to test everything. Can you actually build a financial model when the pressure is on? Do you have the sheer stamina for the insane hours? And, just as critical, do you actually fit in with the very specific culture of these small, high-achieving teams? It's a full-on stress test of your entire potential. Now, this whole thing might sound completely crazy, but there's a really powerful logic driving it, and it's coming from both sides of the table. Let's dig into why both the giant firms and all these ambitious students have totally bought into this crazy accelerated race. You know, what's so interesting here is that it all boils down to 2 things: efficiency and competition. For the firms, this system completely de-risks their most valuable and expensive asset, their people. Think about it. By the time an intern gets that full-time offer, they've already been trained, they've been vetted, and they've proven they can handle the job. And that is absolutely huge in what everyone calls the talent war, where firms are recruiting earlier and earlier just to lock in the best students before their rivals can even get them in a room.
So what about the other side? Why on earth do students willingly sign themselves up for this kind of pressure cooker? Well, because it gives them something incredibly valuable: clarity. It's like a test drive of the career. They get a real, unfiltered look at the demanding lifestyle and the high-stakes work, and they can decide if it's really what they want before they commit their entire post-college life to it. And of course, it's the most direct way to walk into your senior year with a prestigious 6-figure job offer already in your back pocket.
But this all leads to a massive question. A system that's built for speed and early commitment, yeah, it's super efficient. But is it fair? And more importantly, is it actually good at finding the people who are going to be the best investors and leaders, 10 or 20 years from now? This is where the whole debate gets really interesting. And that brings us to the most critical question about the system itself. This whole recruitment gauntlet is now under the microscope. People are asking, is it a true meritocracy that rewards the most driven and prepared people? Or does it just bake in an unfair advantage for a very select few? So on one hand, the people who support it say, hey, this is a meritocratic filter. It forces you to learn the technical skills early, and it shows you're actually committed to the industry. But the argument against it is really powerful. You're hiring people at 19 or 20 years old with almost no real-world experience. The system can give a huge advantage to students who go to specific pipeline universities or, have family connections. The big risk, critics say, is that it doesn't just filter for talent. It filters for a very specific type of person, someone with early access and this laser focus from day one. And that might mean you're overlooking other kinds of brilliance. Okay, but here's the twist in the story. This system, it isn't set in stone. Right when everyone is finally getting used to the rules of the game itself is starting to change. And it's being driven by technology and a totally different idea of what top talent even means anymore. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. In the past, the path was so rigid. You did 2 years in investment banking, then you might get a shot at private equity. Now, Firms are hiring kids right out of undergrad. The skills are changing too. Just knowing how to do basic financial modeling, that's just expected now. The real value is in strategic thinking, in knowing how to leverage tools like AI. And that means the ideal candidate isn't just a finance major anymore. It could be a data scientist or a software engineer. The profile of a top financier is just getting so much broader and more technical than it ever was before. This quote really gets to the heart of it. As AI starts to automate all that repetitive grunt work that junior analysts used to spend hundreds of hours on, the job itself is being elevated. Firms need interns and new hires who can actually think critically and strategically from day one, not just people who are good at plugging numbers into a spreadsheet. The value is just moving up the food chain. So this leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future. For decades, winning this race was all about building the perfect resume by the time you were 20. But as the industry itself completely transforms, the most valuable skill might not be that perfect track record anymore. It might just be your ability to adapt, to think critically, and to learn new things on the fly. The gauntlet isn't going away, but the tools you need to win it, they're changing right before our eyes.